Hello students, Jinali Shah welcomes you on behalf of Saraswat International Academy. Today we will begin with the next chapter, Reproductive Health. So first of all, the introductory part of the chapter. So what does reproductive health indicate? So reproductive health, it represents a society with the people having physically and functionally normal reproductive organs. So society of a people or with the people which are having physically and functionally normal reproductive organs is considered a reproductively healthy society. The healthy people will have healthier babies and they would be taking care of their family and contribute more to the society and community. And hence health is a community issue. Reproductive system is a very complex system which is controlled by neuroendocrine system. That is, reproductive system is under the nervous control as well as under the endocrine control. And therefore, it is very important to take the steps to protect this system from infectious disease and injuries. So reproductive system, as it is controlled by neuroendocrine mechanism, it is very important to protect it from the infectious diseases and the injury. Now what do you mean by the term reproductive health? So basically it refers to the healthy reproductive organs with normal function. So what does reproductive health means? It means a healthy reproductive organs with normal functions. It has a broader perspectives and it also includes emotional and social aspects of reproductions. According to the World Health Organization, reproductive health means a total well-being in all aspects of reproduction. That is physical, emotional, behavioral and social. So World Health Organization have defined reproductive health as a total well-being in all aspects of reproduction. That is physical, emotional, behavioral and social. Therefore, a society with a people having physically and functionally normal reproductive organs and normal emotional and behavioral interactions among them in all sex related aspects might be reproductively healthy. So a society containing a people which have physically and functionally normal reproductive organs and have the emotional and behavioral interactions among themselves in all the sex related aspects might be considered a reproductively healthy society. So basically people will have functional reproductive organs and the people in the society, they interact emotionally and behaviorally when they talk about the sex related aspects. Then such a society can be considered as a reproductively healthy society. Now reproductive health, the problems and the strategies. So India is among the first few countries in the world to initiate the family planning program since 1951 and periodically assessed every decade. Improved programs covering wider reproduction related areas are currently in operation under the popular name Reproductive and Child Health Care, that is RCH programs. Now what are the important tasks of these programs? What is the important motive of the reproductive and child health care programs? So their main motive is to create the awareness amongst the people regarding the various reproduction related aspects and providing the facilities and support for building up a reproductively healthy society. So the main motive of such program is to create awareness among the people about the reproductive related aspects and to provide the facilities and support to build up a reproductively healthy societies. Now, what family planning includes? So, basically, it refers to the practices which help the individual to attain certain objectives. Certain objectives may be to avoid the unwanted births, to bring about the wanted birth, to regulate the intervals between the pregnancies, and to determine the number of children in family. Now, what are the steps to achieve the reproductive health? We know what reproductive health means. Now, how can we achieve the reproductive health? So, with the help of audiovisual and printed media, the governmental and non-governmental agencies have taken various steps to create the awareness among the people about the reproduction related aspects. So, governmental and non-governmental agencies with the help of audiovisual and printed media have taken steps to create the awareness among the people regarding the reproduction related aspects. The parents, other close relatives, teachers and friends, they also play the major role in dissemination or spreading of the above information. So, not only the governmental and the non-governmental agencies, but parents, teachers, relatives and friends too play the important role in the spreading of the information. Introduction of the sex education in the school should be encouraged to provide the right information to young so as to discourage the children from believing in myths and having the misconceptions related to the sex related aspects. So, sex education should be introduced in the school itself so that the young one they get the right information and they discourage the children from having the myths and misconceptions related to the sex aspects. Proper information about reproductive organs, adolescence related changes, safe and hygienic sexual practices, sexually transmitted diseases, AIDS, etc. would help especially those in the adolescent age group to lead a reproductively healthy life. So, adolescent age group. So, basically we can see teenage group. The age between the you can say adulthood and childhood, that age group is called as the adolescent age group. So, basically that is the group where the children will show the maximum changes. So, basically at that particular age group, that people should get the information regarding the reproductive organs, the adolescence and related changes. What are the changes taking place during the adolescent period? Say for example, the metabolism changes, or you can say there will be the proper development of the sexual organs. In females, the menstrual cycles will start. So, these are the changes which occurs at the time of the adolescence. Then they should be known regarding the safe and hygienic sexual practices, sexually transmitted diseases, AIDS, etc. And if such information is given to the people who belong to the adolescent age group, then it would be helpful for the development of the reproductively healthy life, which in turn will form the reproductively healthy society. Educating the people, especially the fertile couples and those in marriageable age group, about the birth control options, care of the pregnant mothers, postnatal care of mother and child, importance of breastfeeding, equal opportunities for male and female child, etc., would address the importance of bringing up socially conscious, healthy families of desired size. So we need to educate people, and mainly those people which are fertile couples and those which belong to the marriageable age group. Now, what information should be given to them? They should get the information regarding the birth control options, how to take care of the pregnant mothers postnatal, that is the care which is taken after the delivery. So postnatal care of mother and child. So after the delivery, not only the child should be taken care of, but also the care of the mother should be taken of. How that should be done? Then they should get the knowledge or information regarding the importance of breastfeeding, equal opportunities for male and female child. This all information will help in developing a socially healthy families of the desired size. Awareness of the problems due to uncontrolled population growth, social evils like sex abuse and sex related crimes, etc., need to be created to enable the people to think and take up the necessary steps to prevent them and thereby build up a socially responsible and healthy society. So, what are the problems created due to the uncontrolled population growth? So, we should get, or people should get the awareness regarding such problems. What that such problems may be? They may be social evils like sexual abuse and sex related crime. So steps should be, if people are aware regarding such thing, then necessary steps could be taken to prevent these social events, which in turn will develop a socially responsible and a healthy society. Successful implementation of various action plans to attain reproductive health requires infrastructural facilities, professional expertise and material support. So these are essential to provide medical assistance and care in reproduction related problems like pregnancy, delivery, STDs, abortions, contraceptions, menstrual problems, infertility, etc. So, to implement such plans, there is a need of the infrastructural facilities, professional expertise and material support. And if all these are provided, and along with that medical assistance and care should be provided in the problems, or you can say care to the people in related to the reproduction problems like pregnancy, delivery, STDs, abortions, contraceptions, menstrual problems, infertility, etc. So, implementation of the better techniques and new strategies from time to time are also required to provide efficient care and assistance to people. So, there should be the development of newer technologies and newer strategies, and these new technologies and strategies will provide efficient care and assistance to the people. Statutory ban on amniocentesis. Now students, surrounding the developing embryo are the presence of the extra embryonic membrane. So basically these are the membranes which are surrounding the developing embryo, and these membranes, they prevent the embryo from mechanical injuries, shocks and all other things. So one of such extra embryonic membrane is amnion, and this amnion is filled with the amniotic fluid. Now there is a statutory ban on amniocentesis. What is amniocentesis? It is a fetal sex determination test based on the chromosomal pattern in the amniotic fluid surrounding the developing embryo. So developing embryo is surrounded by the amniotic membrane, and the membrane produces the amniotic fluid. Now using this fluid, so basically with the help of the syringe and needle, the fluid will be pulled out using that syringe and needle, and that fluid when examined will show the chromosome pattern, and this chromosome pattern would reveal the sex of the child. So basically it is a fetal sex determination test which is based on the chromosomal pattern in the amniotic fluid surrounding the developing embryo. So there is a statutory ban on amniocentesis for sex determination. To legally check the increasing female feticides, massive child immunization, etc. are some programs that merit the mention in this connection. So there is a ban on amniocentesis. Now why there is a ban on amniocentesis? Now through amniocentesis, the sex of the developing embryo can be known, and there are many countries. There are countries where if the sex is a female sex, or basically if the sex of the developing embryo is a female, then that particular fetus will be killed. So there are chances of the increasing female feticides. Feti, that is fetus, and side means killing. So killing of the female fetus have increased by the technique of the amniocentesis, because it is a technique which will tell us the sex of the fetus. So there is a ban on the amniocentesis. In amniocentesis, some of the amniotic fluid is taken to analyze the fetal cells and the substances found. This procedure is also used to test the presence of the certain genetic disorders like Down syndrome, hemophilia, sickle cell anemia, and they determine the survivability of the fetus. So basically through amniocentesis, not only the sex of the fetus can be known, but by performing this test, we can test the presence of certain genetic disorders like Down syndrome, hemophilia, sickle cell anemia, etc., through which we can say whether the fetus can survive or not. So basically amniocentesis is a prenatal technique, before natal delivery. So before the birth of the child, we can know the sex of the child, as well as we can know whether there are chromosomal abnormalities in the fetus or not. So amniocentesis is a prenatal technique which is used to detect the chromosomal abnormalities in the fetus, and it is often misused to determine the sex of the fetus. So basically amniocentesis is a technique which is used to detect whether there are any chromosomal abnormalities in the fetus or not. So before the birth of the child, we can know whether there are chromosomal abnormalities or not. But this technique is misused, and it was used to determine the sex of the fetus. And once the sex of the fetus was known, there may be the chance of the female feticide, and therefore the statutory ban on this amniocentesis is imposed. Now research on various reproduction related areas are encouraged and supported by governmental and non-governmental agencies to find out the new methods and improve the existing ones. So suppose research is related to reproduction related areas are carried out, then such researches are encouraged by the government and non-governmental agencies, and basically this research should be carried out to find the new methods or to improve the existing methods. Saheli, which is a new oral contraceptive for the females, was developed by the scientists at the Central Drug Research Institute in Lucknow, India. The full form, that is CDRI. And where is it located and what was their development? It is very, very important for the NEET as well as for the boards. Now, for decreased maternal and infant mortality rates, that is, what should be taken care of to decrease the maternal and infant mortality rates. Mortality are the death rates. How can we decrease the maternal and infant mortality rates? So, there should be better awareness regarding the sex related matters. There should be increased number of medically assisted deliveries. There are many villages in our country where still the deliveries are not the medical ones. Basically, the village ladies, they only perform the deliveries. Doctors are not, doctors do not perform such deliveries. So, there should be increased number of the medically assisted deliveries and better postnatal care. So, after the delivery of the baby, the care of the child as well as mother should be taken so that there would be the decreased maternal and infant mortality rates. Now, how can we say that a reproductive healthy society is there? So, improved reproductive health of a society is indicated by increased number of couples with smaller families, better detection and cure of STDs, overall increased medical facilities for sex related problem. So, how can we say that the reproductive healthy society is there? So, if a society contains increased number of couples with smaller families, if there is a better detection and cure of STDs, and there are increased medical facilities for the sex related problems, then we can say that a society is a reproductively healthy society. Now, birth control, that is how birth control can be taken. And first of all, we will study regarding the population stabilization. And before that, we will learn about the population explosion. So, population stabilization and birth control. In the last century, an all-round development in various fields significantly improved the quality of the life of the people. So, due to the overall development in all the fields, like in the field of agriculture, in the field of the industries, anywhere there is a proper development. And as there is an all-round development, the quality of the life of the people have improved. And as the quality of the life of the people have improved, the longevity of the life have also increased. Increased in the health facilities along with the better living condition had an explosive impact on the growth of the population. Why population growth have taken place? So, the reason is the health facilities have improved, and these health facilities, as they have improved, they have given better living conditions, and due to that the population growth have taken place. The world population, which was around 2 billion in 1900, it rocketed to 6 billion in 2000 and 7.2 billion in 2011. And this trend, which was regarding the world, the same trend was also observed in our country. So, our population, which was approximately 350 million at time of our independence, it reached close to billion mark by 2000 and 1.2 billion by May 2011. Now, what are the causes of the population explosion? So, there is a decline in the death rate. Why there is a decline in the death rate? Due to the better health facilities. rapidly declining maternal mortality rate, that is MMR, and rapidly declining infant mortality rate, that is IMR, and increased number of the people in the reproducible age group. So these are the 4 causes of the population explosion. There is a decline or decrease in the death rate due to the better health facilities. There is also the decline in the maternal mortality rate as well as the infant mortality rate, and more number of people are present in the reproducible age group, and all these factors are responsible for the population explosion. Now, through our RCH program, so basically we can say RCH program, they are carrying out the population growth rate, or you can say they are trying to bring out the population growth rate, but that population growth rate is only marginal. So according to 2011 census report, the population growth rate was less than 2%. That is 20 per 1000 per year, a rate at which our population could increase rapidly. So according to census report of 2011, it says that the population growth rate was less than 2%, but it was at a rate at which the population could increase rapidly. So such an alarming growth rate could lead to an absolute scarcity of our basic requirements like food, shelter and clothing, in spite of significant progresses made in those areas. So if the growth rate continues at such rate, then there would be the scarcity of basic requirements like food, shelter and clothing. Though the progresses are made in this field. What does it mean? Very much progresses are made in the field of food, shelter and clothing. Still, due to the population growth, there are scarcity of such basic requirements, and therefore government was forced to take up the serious measures to check the population growth rate. Now, what are the steps to overcome the population explosion? So, the steps to overcome population explosion are to motivate smaller families. Now, you might have seen through media, through papers, through bills, etc. some slogans. Hum do, hamare do, that is we too are two. Adopt one child norm, that is a couple will have normally a one child. So these are some of the strategies to develop the smaller families. Use of the contraceptive methods. Statutory raising the marriageable age of the female to 18 years and of the males to 21 years. So the marriageable age have been raised. For females it is 18 years and for males it is 21 years. And incentives are given to the couples with smaller families. So these are certain steps to overcome the population explosion. Now, what are the characteristics required in an ideal contraceptive? The ideal contraceptive should be user friendly. It should be easily available, it should be effective and reversible with no or least side effects. See, basically contraceptive, it stops the pregnancy, or you can say it does not allow the conception. It should be reversible. It means if a couple wants to have a child after the use of the contraception, then it should be possible. And it should in no way interfere with the sexual drive, desire and sexual act of the user. So these are the certain characteristics an ideal contraceptive should have. It should be user friendly, it should be easily available, it should be effective and reversible with no or least side effects, and it should in no way interfere with the sexual drive, desire and sexual act of the users. Now in next video we will study regarding the various contraceptions method. We come to the end of this video. Thank you students.